Gaming Bolt presents 15 horror games from 2018 and beyond. Horror is one of the toughest genres to pull off, whether it's in films, books, or video games. Video games do have the advantage of giving players the agency to inflict horror upon themselves, though. With the lineup coming in the next few years, it's gonna be a long, bloody night for gamers indeed. Let's take a look at 15 horror games releasing in 2018 and beyond. Ad Infinitum. Sure, this may look like your average World War I title at first, but Ad Infinitum throws in some truly terrifying creatures that hunt you down. There's nothing like ambling along in a trench at night while it's raining only to encounter a large, slender, multi-legged beast with claws for days. We don't know if there's going to be shooting, but expect lots of puzzle solving and running for your dear life. Agony. Imagine falling into hell and receiving the ability to possess demons. Naturally, you have no memories of the past, and somehow you need to navigate this infernal landscape, hiding and sneaking about while solving puzzles to survive. Agony looks pretty gorgeous thanks to Unreal Engine 4, and it'll be out on March 30th for Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Call of Cthulhu, the official video game. A combination of pen and paper RPG, psychological horror, H.P. Lovecraft, and investigation, Call of Cthulhu, the official video game, promises a trip like no other. It has a fair bit to live up to, and Cyanide hasn't been exactly hitting it out of the park with its past few releases, like Space Hulk, Deathwing, and Styx, Shards of Darkness. Regardless, we'll see how this turns out. Allison Road. As a spiritual successor to PT, Allison Road has faced many hurdles in its development. It initially sought funding through Kickstarter in July 2015, before Team 17 decided to publish it. In June 2016, the developer announced on Twitter that the game had been cancelled, but lo and behold, it was back in development 2 months later. We're not sure how well the premise holds up. Man walks through house, creepy stuff happens, ghoul appears, etc. But we're still looking forward to it. Death Stranding. Part sci-fi, part Lovecraftian-inspired horror, all batshit insanity. Death Stranding is Hideo Kojima's latest unhinged effort. Between all the babies, invisible monsters, wormholes, fish-infested tanks, and even Hannibal himself, you probably wouldn't have pegged this as an open-world action title. Even if the gameplay has yet to be revealed, Death Stranding should definitely be on your radar, even if you're still trying to figure out those reveal trailers. Scorn. If Agony doesn't fill your wandering through a nightmare land quota for the year, Ebb Software's Scorn should. This first-person shooter sees you exploring a strange world, running into beings made of steel and living flesh. The environments only get more macabre, and honestly, we're not sure if there's some sort of existential message or something behind the scenes here. Scorn's first part, Dacian, is currently slated for October 2018 on PC. The Inpatient. A prequel to Until Dawn, The Inpatient is a first-person survival horror built for PlayStation VR. You play an amnesiac patient in Blackwood Sanatorium struggling to regain their memories. Depending on your decisions, the game's outcome will change, though given the setting, things may be a lot less cut and dry than Until Dawn. The Inpatient is out on January 23rd for PlayStation VR and PS4. Project WIGHT. Many of the games on this list make you play a human, or the subject of some creature's aggression. Project WIGHT flips this, turning you into the monster who must avenge the death of its parents while staying alive. Taking inspiration from Beowulf's Grendel, Project WIGHT will see you battling Vikings by gliding, pouncing, and ripping them to shreds. It looks too good to be true, so let's hope it actually isn't. Days Gone. Information on Days Gone, aside from the secondhand talk of it having hours of cinematics, is still very much absent. At this point, we only know of the game's non-linear gameplay that encourages stealth and action, open world with a presumably strong story and side missions. But when it comes to terror, Days Gone captures that feeling of despair as waves of zombies assault you, literally crashing over themselves in the process. Look out for it in 2018 on PS4. State of Decay 2. The Walking Dead TV series might have taught you that Lori is infinitely more insufferable than the undead, but State of Decay 2 should put the fear back. The open-world survival horror title focuses on scavenging, clearing houses, and fields full of undead and fighting back with whatever you can. With numerous allies to discover, 4-player co-op, and 3 huge cities to explore, State of Decay 2 is the big Xbox One hit that Microsoft needs right now. Moons of Madness. Get this, Moons of Madness is a Lovecraftian horror game, but it also takes place on Mars. As Shane, players will explore the surface of Mars, solving puzzles and generally advancing the human race. So what happens when Shane starts hallucinating some bizarre goings-on? How does that affect his mission and chances of survival? Moons of Madness looks to be another atmospheric horror game in the vein of Outlast and Amnesia, so we're at least intrigued on this one. OVERKILL'S, The Walking Dead. Releasing in fall 2018, OVERKILL'S The Walking Dead will see up to 4 players working together to survive in post-zombie apocalypse Washington, D.C. The dead are pretty much everywhere, as anyone who's seen a city in The Walking Dead can attest to. And you'll need to find supplies, build a camp, and even employ stealth to survive. The addition of unique background stories and skills for characters is also a plus. System Shock 3. The System Shock series, especially System Shock 2, is revered for a number of reasons. One of them is horror as players traverse a derelict space station filled with psychic worms. With System Shock 3 in development, you can look forward to experiencing the horror that terrorized so many old school gamers back in the day. System Shock Remake. And what if you want to go back to where it all began? Night Dive Studios' System Shock, a remake of the classic 1994 title, can offer just that. Developed on Unreal Engine 4, and with Chris Avellone in charge of writing, System Shock will provide a primer on homicidal cyborgs, mutants, and corrupt corporations. Expect to see it release in Q2 of 2018 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Capcom has remained rather tight-lipped on Resident Evil 2's remake. The company's flair for horror is still strong as Resident Evil 7 proves, but how will Resident Evil 2's remake play? Whatever gameplay direction it goes in, if Capcom can recapture that feeling of terror as a zombie dog crashes through a window, we're sold. If only we actually had some new information on this.
And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Vault, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.